Head injuries can happen in almost every type of sport, resulting in concussion or brain trauma that can have serious long term effects. That's why it's critically important to choose a doctor that specializes in brain injuries. Call Dr. Elizabeth Eversole at 469 726 2737 or go to her website, handmadehealth.com. That's handmadehealth.com.
Well, hello, everybody. Kenny Matthews, Brian Goss from Fort Worth Star Telegram. First podcast of the year for the Chocolate Bear and the Goss. It's been 2 years since we've been doing this, Goss, and boy, it's nice to be back, isn't it?
Yeah, been a long time. Been looking forward to it.
No doubt. And we want to say, first thing I did want to say is I want to salute one final time to the class of 2020 last year. Arguably one of the most talented group of seniors that probably played in the area. Too bad they didn't get to be able to finish the year, but man, you can tell by the success that they were having in the college level this year about how talented that group really was. So we want to give a shout out to them because they deserve it. You know, you feel bad that they couldn't finish it out last year due to COVID, but what a heck of a job and a heck of a class that was last year.
Yeah, a lot of great players. A lot of them, playing as freshmen in college.
No doubt. A lot of them playing in the Big 12. Hey, I first want to start here. I mean, I guess we probably should start off with part of the game of the night last night, at least on the 6A level there with Allen and Prosper playing out at Prosper. I know the people in Denton Geyer were definitely watching the eyeballing this game out because of Prosper win and made it a three-way chaos at the top with everybody being tied with just two losses there. And good atmosphere last night, and Prosper hangs on at the end for a 3-2 win there, Goss. What can you say? I mean, the middle of that lineup for Prosper comes through again with back-to-back doubles from Sydney Lewis and Gabby Coffey, and you know, and Ashley, I mean, Beasley pitched a great game for them last night. She tired in the seventh inning, giving up 2 runs, but I mean, she was really nails yesterday, and not that the weather was very conducive to hitting last night, but she minimized her walks and had a great defensive play there at second base, and she was able to hold on for the big win.
Yeah, I mean, Prosper's got one of the most powerful offenses we've seen. They're almost reaching 40 home runs as a team, and going up against one of the top pitchers in the area, Alexis Telford from Allen, just coming in ridiculous. Subpar 1.0 ERA, and I think she's nearing 250 strikeouts or whatever it was. But big bounce back, obviously, after the first time they had met. Prosper losing to Allen. I think it was 7-1 in the first meeting. So
7-1.
Yeah, big win for Prosper, and I know they have they go 2, 3, 4 deep in their rotation. They don't have that. They don't have an Alexis Telford, that number one, but if they can just get some good innings, they can trust the defense and the offense to pick up some wins here, and yeah, they hang on, and Allen and Prosper still have one more game Friday. If they win there, then it's set. It's a 3-way tie, and who knows? We spoke off camera before, and I guess maybe a mini style tournament.
Gabby, Roger Coffey, Gabby's father, was saying yesterday that you can end up maybe playing 5 games next week of softball. If they do it right, from what he understands, they're going to do a coin flip. The odd person out will get the bye. The other 2 teams will play. Whoever wins that game will play the team that had the bye. And so in essence, didn't have a 3-game set that, 2 days later. You could play 5 softball games next week, but I think those young kids can handle that. I'm pretty sure they can, but it's interesting. It's definitely a top-heavy district, and Prosper still. I mean, you're going up against the Queen of Windmill on the Queenie Boyd. So I mean, she, anytime you're going up against her, she can go out there and throw out a set out. So it's not, their work is not over just yet, for sure.
Yeah, and McKinney Boyd picked up a big win against rival McKinney, 2-1 in extras, and Kinsey with another 20 strikeout game there, and star freshman Savannah Luther had a big night, 4 for 4. I think she drove in the go-ahead run, but that kind of puts McKinney Boyd in the driver's seat for that fourth playoff spot. And obviously 5-6A, like you mentioned, just I think it's the toughest in DFW for sure this year.
Oh, absolutely. I think so also. And you're gonna be playoff tested too. I think that's good for them because you've had quality competition throughout. Playoffs is not going to be a big deal for them, especially not initially anyway.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. It's unfortunate, but I mean, we'll see some good matchups. But I think District 5 is the best, and then District 6 is the second best, and they're going up against each other in the first round. So it makes for good playoff games.
Yes, it does. And speaking of that, I mean, what about the big game there from Memorial and Frisco Heritage last night? I mean, that's another big game with the big catch there by Gabby at the bottom preserves the win for Memorial. That district, man, that was a very competitive district throughout. Memorial's with 15-3, I believe, in district, and Reedy was also in that district. They finished third. I mean, Independence missed the playoffs, so that should tell you how strong that district was. But I mean, you got to talk about the job that Memorial did also.
No, definitely, and just kind of a new program, right? They're still fairly new, and here they are, district champs. I know their pitcher Maddie's just been lights out for them, and it's just one of those first. Many a first for the Memorial program. They get that district title, and now they riding high. So momentum here in the playoffs for 5A.
Yep, that is, it's a great job that they're doing there. I mean, there's obviously a lot of good softball in that area. I mean, Wakeland's good. I mean, you've got a lot of good softball there in the Frisco area, which is not a surprise to anybody, of course not. But hats off to Memorial. Like I said, I believe this is just their third year in existence here. Them to get a district title, I mean, not too shabby at all. Not too shabby at all. I was going to move around just a little bit, and I'm just kind of all over the map here a little bit, but I wanted to go to 5A Region 2, District 10. Friday night, speaking of new schools, you're going to have Lovejoy makes the trip out to Prosper Rock Hill. Winner takes all district game there. I mean, what can you say about the outstanding job that Leanne Budd has done with that first-year program? She doesn't have any seniors on that team. So, I mean, to come out there and be in shot, be able to try to win district at home on Friday night, I mean, that's amazing to me.
Yeah, first year as a school, and then first year for the softball program. And I know a lot of those kids were at Prosper, and with the new zoning, they had to go to Rock Hill or whatever it is, have a choice to go to either one. And so they're good players if they're on that Prosper team from last year or the year before. One name, I don't cover Rock Hill that much, but one name that stands out is Kat Luna. I think she's having a phenomenal year and just leading that program. And it should be a good game with Lovejoy. Lovejoy looks like they're kind of on a roll right now. So that might be the game of the night on Friday.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting out there. If their softball field was anything like their baseball field their basketball
yeah.
arena. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be really nice to see out there. I mean, it's a beautiful campus, obviously. How good would Prosper be if they had some of these players on their team this year? I mean, talking about depth, but for Lovejoy, I mean, there's Skylar Rucker and Hannah Harvey. They're being led by them. They both are blistering the ball at the plate for Lovejoy. I mean, Lovejoy is not the oldest school around in here, but they've had a lot of success, obviously on the volleyball side and obviously on the softball side too. So looking forward to getting out there because like I said, it's nice to see the new campuses and see the new facilities out that way.
Yeah, I'm guessing Skylar is part of the Rucker family, so that's an indication of what type of athlete she is.
Yeah, no kid. I like to talk about a game that we were talking a little bit off camera here. This is kind of from your neck of the woods. Is going to be the battle between Boswell and Weatherford. They're going to play a winner take all district game in LD Bell next Monday night at 7 o'clock. And, obviously Emma Robertson has had a tremendous year over there. It's going to be really nice to see those two teams up close. I haven't seen them personally yet. I know you have seen Boswell play. What is your assessment on that game, Brian?
Yeah, it's going to be wild. Like you mentioned, it's going to be for first. They will have co-district championship, but winner of that game will be the first seed for the playoffs next Thursday. But yeah, Weatherford, 23 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie. I have them as my number 1 team in Fort Worth area. Boswell, I think I have as 6. Season series split. Weatherford kind of took it to them in round 1, 14-4. And then Boswell came back with a 1-0 walk-off win by a freshman, Danielle Bohannon, if I'm saying her name right. But yeah, just both teams just kind of playing well. Weatherford kind of had a scare last night, 3-2 against LD Bell, but 2 of the best pitchers in this side of the area, at least, with Lauren Bells for Weatherford and Haley Parker for Boswell, and just a number of hitters. I mean, and a lot of them are commits. You start with Robertson, who's got, I think, 8 home runs and 41 RBIs this year. And, Raina Sadler's another commit. Malia Jones is hitting the ball very well. And just, it should be a good game. And then you look at Weatherford with Hannah Bartels, who's up for my player of the week, and Addison Tidwell, Hannah Reed. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I haven't had a chance to watch Weatherford this year, but I'm looking forward to it. They looked like they were turning things around for last year before COVID hit. Jeff Lemons, his first year as head coach there, returns. He was an assistant when they won state title in the early 2000s, and 2-time state champ with Aledo. So yeah, it's going to be fun.
I make a good point there. Is teams that were playing well last year before it kind of shut down that continue that, into this year, like Denton Geyer from 1, they might have been the surprise team of last year, the way they played last year. They seem to pick it up right where they left off last year. I know they've lost a couple of games here as of late, but it's kind of hard to see. It's kind of nice to see those teams be able to kind of carry that momentum over. And I guess with the girls being able to play that summer, I think that was huge for them to be able to play all summer, albeit maybe more locally instead of nationally. But it seems like people were able to kind of keep that groove going.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to see. You kind of wonder if they have some momentum there, and then I don't know if COVID and the quarantine just kind of brings them back down to earth. But they're Weatherford and Geyer. They're Ben Brooks, another one in 4A. Yeah, it's good to see that, 1, we're playing, and 2, some of these teams are still riding that momentum.
Well, another team I like to talk about is Aledo. You've got to see them a few times this year. Macy, obviously Macy Graff had a big hit last night for the win again for Aledo. What is your assessment of Aledo going forward? And what do you think this is a state championship caliber type team here? I mean, obviously they've got the pedigree. They've had they've won in the past. It seems like they're just getting enough timely hitting and getting enough good pitching to win ball games.
Yeah, they're ranked number 2 in my area, 19-3 on the season. They got that playing a warm up, I guess, if you will, against Marcus, 6A Marcus, and they got the win 4-3. Macy Graff with the walk-off win. But yeah, all the things are there, all the ingredients are there for a state run. 2 dynamic pitchers with Kaylee Smith and Natalie Touche. So, it's kind of nice to throw out 2 different styles and 2 different pitchers in a series. And then, yeah, hitting starts with Graff up top, lead off. Madison Botwell's having a monster year, another player of the week nominee. She homered again on Tuesday. She had 3 home runs last Friday against Wichita Falls. Marissa Powell in the 2-hole, and just, I know there's many more. The whole lineup is dangerous for Aledo. So yeah, at least on that side of the bracket, I do like them to make a deep run, and but we'll see. I mean, 5A Region One is tough. You look at Burleson, who got an undefeated district championship. They can meet up there, and Northwest with their young pitcher Abby Young, and
Yes.
I think they've only
Yes.
lost 2 or 3
Abigail.
games on the year. So I think maybe Alito's got the slight edge, but who knows? I mean, got some good pitchers with Young at Northwest and Braley Wasick over at Burleson.
Excellent, excellent. I'd like to come talk a little bit about Landry Harris, what she's done at Flower Mound. Flower Mound last year had a lot of graduation, a lot of experience, good players. They came back and they were, I believe they were undefeated in district, or made them off just one game in district this year. Again, it just seems like the beat keeps going over there for the Jaguars. It doesn't matter what season it is. You replace college players from the year before, and here you are. You got one of the best pitchers in the mound, and sophomore Landry Harris. And man, I think that they can also make a deep run in here just because of her on the mound, even though she's just a sophomore.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, District 6 I think is the second toughest, at least in 6A. But they'll have to go up with District 5 in the first round and possibly in the third round. I mean, you talk about the 3-way tie with Guy, Prosper, and Allen, and whoever's first, if they win the first 2 rounds and Flower Mound wins the first 2 rounds, they're meeting up in round 3. That's a regional final. That's a state semifinal game. But yeah, Flower Mound is doing some good stuff still. I mean, yeah, Landry Harris. It starts with Landry Harris, but they have a capable number 2 with Abby Jennings, who's also the same age as Landry, and some good bats too. I mean, McKenna Andrews batting well, and she's got the glove at short. I know I'm kind of blanking on some names. Brooke Nauman, Carson Lee. So they got some good hitters, but yeah, it starts with Landry. If she's dealing, then it's hard to beat Flower Mound for sure.
And it must be nice that both of your best pitchers are sophomores. I mean, the future's pretty bright, for them going forward. I mean, they're only going to get better. I kind of equate that to kind of like Rancy Willis was for Geyer. You can see the potential as a sophomore, but here, then her senior year, she puts everything together, and she, arguably one of the best pitchers and top 3 pitchers in the league in the area now. You can see that natural progression, but it sure must be nice to know that you'll be able to roll out one of those 2 on the rubber for the next 2.5 years, man.
But I mean, what about a first round matchup of Landry Harris versus Kinsey Cackley? That's absurd.
Yeah, think about that. Yeah, that's right.
That's absurd. And then 2 rounds later, it could be Harris versus Willis or Harris versus Telford. Man, it's just crazy.
Or Beasley. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about, yeah. And and I'm going to say the first 1-1 wins if it's Harrison and Cackley going against each other, because just to put the ball in play may seem like a huge feat, sometimes against them. But yeah, I don't think anybody wants to play McKinney Boyd in the first round. And I'm not sure if you can do the 3-game or the 1-game. Do you do the coin flips anymore on that? I'm not sure. Did the UIL change that where now they're both 3-game sets now, or best 2 out of 3? I can't remember if it did or did not.
I know I was talking to Coach Moore from Timber Creek. I believe the higher seed has their choice of series.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So Flower Mound will be able to choose if they want to go 1 or 3, and I mean, I would probably have to say they would probably go with 3.
Yes, but you might put your team in a slump if you have to face her twice, going forward. But you can probably get some confidence again. But there's no way you would want to do a 1-game set with with that Cackley on the mound. There's no way, because I mean, like you said, she can just throw up a gem and strike 25 people out, and you can lose a game 1-0 or 2-1 off of from defensive plays in the out, and some errors in the outfield or infield. I'm really looking forward to just seeing those first round matchups, because I remember a couple of years ago when Denton Geyer and Flower Marcus played in the first round, and then Denton Geyer beat them in the first round there. So just because you're the heavy favorite in that first round, I think there's some added pressure sometimes in that first round to get out of it and play a good team like McKinney Boyd as a 4th seed in the first round. That's not an easy out by any stretch of the means.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's I'm excited. It kind of snuck up on me in the playoffs, but yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, that kind of snuck. I was talking to some people in the stands yesterday about that. We all couldn't believe that the playoffs are right around the corner. And I guess with it being cold yesterday, it didn't seem like playoff softball coming away. That's for sure. I did want to give a shout out to Royce City. I wanted to really get out there and see a game of theirs this year. Hopefully I can do that in the playoffs this time around. But what about the job Brooke Johnson's doing over there at first base over there? I mean, she blistered the ball last week. I think she batted .714, something of that nature. But I mean, I think they've been kind of the under the radar team, maybe to say, in the Metroplex here. I mean, I know that their district may be not up to par as some would, want them to be the competition wise, but I think Royce City's got a great shot at doing some damage in the playoffs here.
Yeah, I think they only dropped two games all year. I think 22-2, and yeah, they might be the dark horse there in 5A.
I really think that they're one of those that, I mean, a lot of people are talking about them, but I'm not sure who their bi-district game would be in the first round, but obviously they'll be playing the 4th seed, in that. But I'm gonna try my best to get over there and watch them, because they've been entertaining for sure all year. And then I also wanted to give a shout out to Shelby Nelson. She's been on fire the last couple of weeks with the long ball, trying to get that Lake Dallas team into the playoffs. They dropped a tough one last night. I think if they win Friday, it will be the 4th seed in the playoffs there. But she's been blistering the ball, hitting the home runs, and I think she batted .667 the week before, and I believe she was 3 for 4 last night with some more home run and a double. She's kind of putting the team on her back and trying to get that team back into the playoffs. I believe, if I did, her dad told me, be the first time that they've gone to the playoffs in softballs, I believe, is what I was told last week. Could be wrong on that, but that was kind of what the talk of the nature was.
Yeah, hit her 10th home run. I think 2 years ago when we had a full season, Lake Dallas might have won maybe 2 or 3 only district games. So to be able to come back and win some key games to make the playoffs would be huge. And I know she's, rest of the year she's playing for Doug Gorsuch. If Doug was a select softball coach, I wrote a story about him, and he passed away, and they were close, Doug and Shelby. So I know Shelby's playing for him.
Yeah, that was tragic. He was one of the iconic hitting coaches in the area. I know Savvy Williams was really close with him and some others, and it was nice to see some of the tributes that came out. And I was talking to some people, some families about that, and it seems like we need to start preparing our families for the worst case scenarios, because inevitably that's kind of what's been happening, with some people dying, not just due to COVID, but just, unexpected deaths like that. My heart goes out to the family. That's, I know that's going to be tough. And, there's been people doing some fundraising and things of that nature. You can find that on Twitter. You want to fund me for them and help that family out financially, because that's the first thing I always think about is, how they're going to be able to move on without the finances. So, I'm glad you did bring that up. I also was going to talk to you about a little bit about that. I think that the one holdover kind of left from the great Forney teams is Vanessa Hollingsworth. It seems like she's been there forever, but you had so many studs that have graduated now from that great Forney run back there. And, Vanessa's been just absolutely abusing the ball, the Missouri signee. I know they lost last night, so I know, but she's been incredible, and she seems to be 100% healed with that knee injury for sure.
Yeah, just kind of another player like Shelby, just doing what she can to kind of carry the team. I think she's up to 13, maybe 14 home runs, and then you can't forget about Savannah Hughes, who's another college signee, and so different Forney look than what we may be accustomed to the last 2 or 3 years, but I think they're still in the thick of things for a district title and playoff spot, and who knows? Just once again, the playoffs, who knows? They could go on a run and
Absolutely.
maybe go back to state.
And sometimes you can just have that one horse that you can carry you for a while. You can get hot. Somebody can get hot. And obviously, Vanessa Hollingsworth is that type of a player. And the other thing that's different about it is one less idol on that sidelines coaching too, now that she's coaching the volleyball team. So, I mean, it really is a shocking look from the last time I saw them all play in the regional finals against Reedy a couple of years ago. So, yeah, it's kind of a shocking to me, but obviously they're still talented enough. Like you said, you brought up Hughes. They can still be a pesky out for sure. And you can't ever underestimate that championship mojo that you have sometimes. Some teams just seem like, you just have it in the playoffs, and and they walk out on the field and they know that they can win. Sometimes teams walk out on the field and they hope they can win, and those are the ones that generally get beat.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, Well, hey, Goss, I know we only have like about 30 minutes on this deal, but I was going to say, do you have any shout outs? You got anybody that's you're kind of looking forward to? You have a game maybe this Friday that you're kind of maybe looking to go to? Or we both said that we're going to try to go to the Boswell Weatherford game next Monday. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
for
be
sure.
I'll be there Monday for sure. LD Bell, 7 p.m. This Friday, still to be determined. I might get out to Lake Dallas, who's hosting Richland again. But no, some shout outs. I mentioned it, Benbrook, back-to-back undefeated district champions, if you don't count 2020. Timber Creek, I think, is a
Yes.
contender.
Fire.
They had some trouble this week with the two games back to back, but they did come back and win both to finish 12-0, their first district championship in school history. Another team that has two capable pitchers with Reese Mitchell and Nicole Stir, and just great bats with Gabby Beret and Bailey Myers, Kendall McDaniel, Sanaya Hill. Just the whole team's loaded. So we'll see if Timber Creek can make a deep run. They'll have to go against Weatherford and Boswell in the third round if those teams win. So might have some good third round matchups, and then just got to give a shout out to Saxy with Dee McClarity. She's just tearing the ball loose there. I think she's up to 11 or 12 home runs. I want to say she leads the DFW in hits or maybe RBIs with like some absurd number. So yeah, so it's crazy. You need to watch for Saxy for sure. I think they're in region 2. So we'll see how far they can go. And then Irving Nimitz, my last one, district champs. Karina Rodriguez is just doing some amazing things in the circle. I tweeted out earlier that she had gone like 45 straight innings without giving up an earned run. So she finally gave up one last night against Pierce, but that's a good little streak. And she's got like 6 no-hitters in the last 9 games. So congrats to all those teams and winning district and whatnot.
Well, if you're going to be at Lake Dallas, you'll get a chance to see Landry McKittrick. I believe that's what it is, from Richland. I don't know how you say her last name for certain. McKittrick. she's been hitting the ball, for them. So you'll get to see her play. And that's a big ball game for Lake Dallas, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Richland once already, and they have some good hitters with Landry and Abby DeSantos, who hit a home run, and they came back against Lake Dallas to win. Landry had the walk off there, or not walk off, but the go ahead runs in the sixth. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to that game if I do make it out there.
There was another game that I was going to tell you about. It lost my mind here just a little bit on it. Give me one moment. Anyhow, it'll come back to me later. But I'm just looking forward to it. I can't believe, like you said, it's softball season is here. It's the first podcast in a couple of years. Excited about it. We'll roll through the playoffs. And again, we're blessed that there's so much good softball in this area for sure. It makes it easy for us to pick out games to go to each and every week because a lot of talent here in the area. But I know the Softball Nation wanted us to come back and throw out the cast, do another podcast. So the Chocolate Bear and the Goss is back for the next 2 months. Hope you guys enjoy. We'll make it more smoothly transition into the playoffs next week. We'll have pairings and everything, so we'll be able to break down some different things in that sense more. We'll try to get it out on Wednesdays and Thursdays of each week, and maybe we might get lucky and try to get a guest or two on there. That would be fun too. I know we had some ideas of some couple people that we wanted to make sure we can get on the cast. So I'll talk to you about that off camera, so we don't say anything on camera. But yes, we got couple names that we want to get.
Awesome. Yeah, always a pleasure doing these podcasts and talking to you, Chocolate Bear.
Always the Goss, the Chocolate Bear. Thanks, guys, for listening. We'll be back next week. Hit them where they're not. Go enjoy your softball this week. Should be fun. Playoffs next week.